Hi, it's Lent, the 12th day, and today we're looking at Psalm 128, Ezekiel chapter 36, verses 22 to 32, and John chapter 7, verse 53 through chapter 8, verse 11. Today, what we discover as we look at these passages of Scripture is the way in which God's grace is on display before us. In particular, as we look at the passage from the Gospel of John, we come across the story of the woman who's caught in adultery. And she's out in a public display, and people are there, and they want to stone her. And Jesus simply looks at the crowd in his own way after he's written in the sand and says, "He is without sin, cast the first stone." And what we discover is that everybody disperses. And Jesus says to the woman, "Is there anyone?" And she says, "No, there's no one." And he says to her that he doesn't condemn her, but he also tells her to go and sin no more. Because not only is God's grace mean that we walk in obedience, but the grace of God is something that comes and changes us from the inside out. And so, yes, she would need to not fall into the pattern of sin again, but God was already doing a work inside of her life. His grace was already at work. Ezekiel gives us that same idea when we read the passage from Ezekiel, because God, in his great mercy and grace, is making a transformation within the lives of the people. He says, "I'll give you a heart of flesh instead of a heart of stone," and that he'll pour out his spirit within them. And so what we need to discover is that grace isn't about our action. It is about God working on the inside of our lives and changing us. We have to be obedient as he does that, but it is his grace that changes us from the inside out. And so, friends, as you think about that today, I want you to consider, how is it that you can walk in obedience, but more importantly, do you understand that God is changing you from the inside out, and it's his grace that's making you a new person as you live your life as a disciple.